Okay, in this video we're going to be doing the review for systems of equations using elimination, but this is the second week. If you're doing weeks, depending on if you're in summer school, whether you're in regular school, but they're going to be a little bit harder problems than the last review, but that's okay, we can do them. So if you've already done it, then here are the answers. Grade yourself. If you have not, then you need to do it first and then watch the video. All right, number 1. We have negative 3x minus 7y equals negative 15. Then we have positive x plus 7y equals positive 5. All right. This one is already, it's the same as it was before. This is an easier one because notice that they're all in the same order. I have x's, y's, and numbers, and even more than that, my y's will automatically eliminate without doing any extra work. So we should be better at this now. The 7's are going to cancel, and I'm going to get negative 3 plus positive 1 is negative 2x equals, and then negative 15 plus positive 5 is negative 10. So now I have the equation negative 2x equals negative 10. I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides, and I get that x equals 5. So we have part of it. Now I need to pick an equation and put in 5 for x. I think I'm going to pick the second one. So it was x plus 7y equals 5. And I'm going to put a 5 in for x. So now it's going to be 5 plus 7y equals 5. Subtract 5 from both sides, and I get that 7y equals 0. Then I divide by 7, and y equals 0. So I have my two answers. X is 5 and y is 0, which is letter A. All right, number 2. I got negative x minus 9y equals 11. Then I got negative 10x plus 9y equals 11. So this is another easy one where I have them separated. These will go away. Then I got a negative 11x equals 22. I divide by negative 11, and x equals negative 2. So we have our first coordinate point. Now we're going to take that negative 2 and plug it into one of these. And it looks like maybe I'm going to go with the first one. So it's negative x minus 9y equals 11. So I'm going to put a negative 2 in for x. So negative 2. Notice that it was already a negative x, so I'm going to keep that negative, but then x was also negative 2. So those two negatives are going to cancel each other out, and now it's really going to be a positive 2. So 2 minus 9y equals 11. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I get that negative 9y equals 9. Divide by negative 9, and I get negative 1. 9 divided by negative 9 is negative 1. So my coordinate point is negative 2, negative 1, which is A. Then we got number 3. Looks like another easy one. So far so good. This is just like our last review. Hopefully you're not having any trouble with the first 3 problems. All right, I'm going to draw my lines here. The positive 2x and the negative 2x are going to cancel each other out. Then I'm going to get 2 plus negative 3, which is going to be negative 1. Negative 10 plus 18 is positive 8. Now I'm going to divide by negative 1 on both sides. And y is going to equal negative 8. Now I need to pick out which one looks easier. I guess I'm going to go with the top one. It doesn't really matter. They look about the same. 2x plus 2y equals negative 10. Well, instead of putting y, I'm going to put a negative 8. So 2x is going to stay the same. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. I'm going to rewrite that over here so I have more room. So all I did was copy from here and put it up here. Now I'm going to add 16 to both sides. And negative 10 plus 16 is positive 6. Then we divide by 2, and we get that x is 3. So 3 is going to go in the x spot, which is letter D. All right, number 4. Maybe we're going to start getting a little bit more difficult here. And we are. All right, so 2x minus 7y equals negative 26. Then we have negative 4x plus 6y equals positive 4. All right, so we have to make a decision. Are we going to make the x's be the same number, or are we going to make the y's be the same number? It's going to be easier to do the x's because all that I need to do is multiply the top one by 2, and then that'll become 4x, and then this is negative 4x. So I'm going to take this top equation and multiply everything by 2. So 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times negative 7y is negative 14y. And 2 times negative 26 is negative 52. So now I'm going to draw a line here. These two equations are what we're really fooling with now. I'm going to scoot it up to where we can't see that top equation anymore. So now if I add, notice that my x's will eliminate. Negative 4x and positive 4x will go away. Positive 6 and negative 14 make negative 8. Negative 52 and a positive 4 would be negative 48. Then we're going to divide by negative 8, and we get that y is positive 6. Negative 48 divided by negative 8 is positive 6. So we have one of the variables solved for. Y is definitely 6. And it doesn't matter which equation we use to plug it back in for. We can actually use any of these three, whatever we want to. They're all three fine. I'm going to pick, it doesn't matter, I'll just pick this middle one here. So I'm going to rewrite it. So it was negative 4x plus 6y equals 4. So I'm going to put a 6 in for the y. Six times 6 is 36. Then we subtract 36. Negative 36 plus 4 is negative 32. Then we divide by negative 4. And negative 32 divided by negative 4 is positive 8. So we have our two solutions, x is 8 and y is 6. So 8, 6, which is C. Okay, moving right along. We got number 5. We have 2x minus 7y equals negative 29. Then we got negative 10x plus 6y equals 0. Alright, well we have very similar to the last problem, a 7 and a 6. They don't really have anything in common until you get to 42. So I don't think they're a good choice. I don't really want to go that high. So I'm going to go with my x's. I'm going to bring this 2 up to a 10. So to get from 2 to 10, I would have to multiply by 5. So I'm going to multiply everything in this equation by 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 7 is 35. And I don't know what 5 times 29 is. Let's see. 145. And that's a negative 145 because it was a negative 29. Alright, I'm going to scoot my paper up so that all we see is our new equations. When I add here, the 10x's will go away, which is why we did that. And 35 minus 6 is 29. So we get 29, negative 29y equals negative 145. So I wonder if it's divisible. 145 divided by 29 is 5. I think I should have known that. I just did that math. Ugh, my brain is mush. Okay, negative 145 divided by negative 29 is positive 5. So we know the y value. Now we just need to figure out the x value. And again, I can pick any of these three. And I think I'm going to pick that second one. Again, it's weird how I'm picking that middle one, but I'm going to pick this equation here. So negative 10x, let me write it over here, plus 6y equals 0. Then I'm going to put 5 in for y. Well, 6 times 5 is 30. So I'm going to get negative 10x plus 30 equals 0. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to rewrite this over here. Well, I have to subtract 30 from both sides. And I get negative 10x equals negative 30. So now I'm going to divide by negative 10 on both sides. And I'm going to get that x is 3. Negative 30 divided by negative 10 is 3. My paper's moving. And I'm going to scoot this up. 3, 5, which is C again. Alright, we're halfway done. We're on number 6. So I got 2x plus y equals 6. Then I got 7x plus 3y equals 24. Alright. I can bring these up to 14s, or I can bring these up to 3s. I think it's going to be easier to just bring these up to positive 3 and negative 3. But I'm going to have to multiply the top by negative 3, because I need a negative 3 here. So I'm going to multiply everything here by negative 3. Well, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And negative 3 times 1, which is what that is right there, is negative 3, which is what we wanted. And negative 3 times 6 is 18. So I've multiplied the entire first equation by negative 3. And now I have a new equation. So I'm going to scoot this up so we don't see that anymore. And now when I look at it, my y's will eliminate. So these are going to go away. And I got 7 plus negative 6, which is the same thing as 7 minus 6, which is 1x. And 24 plus 18, is that 42? Let's see. Yep, 42. So x equals 42, which is a huge number. That can't be right. Oh, negative 18. Okay. Let's do this again. 24 minus 18 is 6. So we caught our error. Sometimes you just have to look at your math and say, does it make sense or not? And when it doesn't make, I mean, it's not that it's a problem. I mean, 42 could be an answer. But when I look over here, it's not one of our options. The first number would have had to have been 42 here. And I knew that I didn't see any answers that big. So whenever you make a mistake, just catch yourself and do your best to recover. All right, so x equals 6, and I can pick any of the 3 equations here. I think I'm going to pick that middle one again. I'm just going to write it over here to the side. So I got 7x plus 3y equals 24. Well, x is 6, so 7 times 6 is 42. And the way that this is written is fine, but sometimes kids will want to rewrite it. So 3y plus 42 equals 24. They're the same thing. You know, I just moved the 3y here and the 42 there. Sometimes it helps if you feel like the numbers are big and you kind of get a little tense. Sometimes if you just rewrite it, it kind of can make you feel better. So we have positive 24 and negative 42. So negative 18. Then we're going to divide by 3. And y equals negative 6. So we have our 2 solutions. So our coordinate point is 6, negative 6. Which is on there, which is C again. All right, number 7. We have 10x plus 9y equals 0. Then we have negative 3x plus 6y equals 0. Well, we can take this up to 18, or we can take this up to 30. It doesn't really matter. I think I'll take this one up to, I think I'll just go up to 18. So I need one of them to be positive 18, and I need the other one to be negative 18, and it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to multiply this one by a negative number, just so I can make this new answer be positive here. Because if I multiply by negative, the negatives will cancel out. So 6 times negative 3 will get me negative 18. And then I'm going to move this 7 here. Maybe. Okay. The top one, I'm trying to go from 9 to 18. So I would have to multiply that by 2. So I'm going to have 2 whole new equations. I'm going to write them over here. So I'm going to say equals, equals. I'm going to distribute and multiply everything here by 2. So this is going to be 20x plus 18y. And then 0 is easy because anything times 0 is 0. Now I'm going to do the second one. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Negative 3 times positive 6 is negative 18. And then the 0 is just going to stay as 0 because no matter what it is, anything times 0 is 0. Now they will eliminate. They wouldn't have before, but I made that happen. And if you chose a different route, that's fine. Like if you went to 30 or to a different number even, some people would take it to 54 or, 60. It doesn't really matter. As long as you are making them both be the same number. You try to want to make it easier on yourself, as easy as possible. But sometimes you can't avoid it. You just get really big numbers. So 29x equals 0. We're going to divide by 29. And x equals 0. So we have one of our answers. And I can take that x and plug it in any of these 4 equations because they're all fine. I think I'm going to do this one here. The negative 3 plus 6y equals 0. I think I'm going to choose that one. That one looks like the easiest one. All right, so I'm going to put a 0 in for x. Well, anything times 0 is 0. So this is going to be a 0. I don't really need to write it. So it's really just going to be 6y equals 0 because I don't need to write this 0. Plus 0 doesn't really change anything. Then I divide by 6. This is a weird problem because both answers were zeros. Y is 0, x is 0, both of them. So the coordinate point is 0, 0, which is the origin. If you weren't sure what that was called, 0, 0 is called the origin. And it's that center point on a coordinate plane. All right, number 8. We got negative 8x plus 3y equals negative 27. Then we have negative 5x plus 7y equals negative 22. Okay, we're definitely going to get some big numbers here because nothing is clean. We're going to have to go to 40 here or 21 here. I'm leaning more toward the 21. Doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to multiply this one by negative 7. And nope, no I'm not. Negative 3. And I'm going to multiply this one by positive 7. So 7 times 8 is 56. So this is going to be negative 56x. 7 times 3 is 21. So this one's going to be positive 21y. And I don't know what 7 times 27 is. 189. These are big numbers. But it is going to be negative because I have a positive times a negative. And the next equation is going to be negative 3 times all of this. Well, negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. And negative 3 times negative 22 is positive 66. So now I have these new equations. And when I add them, my 21s will go away. My 21y's. Now, I don't know what 56 minus 15 is right now. I probably should. Yeah, 41, that makes sense. My brain really is mush. Okay, so negative 41x, and then I have negative 189 plus 66, which is negative 123. These are not pretty numbers. I mean, we really can't do these in our head. So now we're going to take and divide it by negative 41. So we have negative 123 divided by negative 41, and we get positive 3. All of that work to get positive 3, which is fine. Now I have 4 equations that I can choose from. I have these two, the original two, and then I have my new two that I can choose from. X is going to be 3. I think I'm going to pick, it doesn't really matter. I'll just pick the 8x one. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I get negative 8x plus 3y equals negative 27. But x is 3, right? Yeah. So negative 8 times 3 and 8 times 3 is 24. So negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Then I'm going to add 24 to both sides. And I get 3y equals negative 3. And I'm going to divide by 3 and get that y equals negative 1. So let's see. That was 3, negative 1, which is b. All right, we're down to the last two. And let's see. We got negative 7x plus 7y equals negative 7. Lots of 7's there. Negative 10x plus 9y equals negative 2. All right. We have not very good choices, really. We could take these up to 70, or we could take these up to 63. Not very good choice. Either one is going to be big numbers. I'm just going to stick to the 70. And so I'm going to multiply the top by, I got to pick one of them to be a negative, and it doesn't really matter. So I'll just multiply this one by positive 10 and this one by negative 7. Okay, so I'm going to multiply these out and then put my answers over here. 10 times 7 is 70, so this is going to be negative 70x plus 70y equals negative 70. Now we have lots of 70s. Then down here, we're going to have positive 70x, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Then I have negative 7 times 9, which is negative 63. Then I got negative 7 times negative 2, which is positive 14. So I'm going to draw my columns. My 70s will cancel, and I'm going to be left with 70 minus 63, which is 7y. And then I got negative 70 plus 14, which is negative 56. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 7. Negative 56 divided by 7 is negative 8. Oops. Okay. I didn't leave myself much space for the x. Hopefully it's not a very big number. All right, now let's see. Looking at all 4 of the equations, it doesn't really matter which one we pick. If y is going to be a negative 8, is there any that's easier? Not really. I'm just going to go with the 10x one, just because 10s are easy to deal with. So negative 10x plus 9y equals negative 2. But we know that y is negative 8. And now we have 9 times negative 8, which is negative 72. And I'm going to add 72 to both sides. And I get that negative 10x equals 70. And if I divide by negative 10 on both sides, I get that x is negative 7. So we have our two answers, negative 7, comma, negative 8, which is C. All right, we got one left to do. Hopefully you're doing well on these. This is the second time around. Elimination can be overwhelming. All of, really, the systems of equations can be overwhelming when you first learn it, or whether you've already learned it and forgotten it when you're reminded of it. So it's good to take it easy and take it slow, going back into them. All right, so we could take this up to 45, or we could take this up to 42. Neither of them are good options, really. But it is what it is. I guess I'm gonna take this up to 45. Only because 5s are easy to deal with. Okay, so I'm gonna multiply this one by 9 and this one by 5. So 9 times negative 6 is negative 54. And 9 times negative 5 is negative 45. And no matter what it is, times 0 is going to be 0. Junk times 0 is 0. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 9 is 45. And 5 times 19, I don't know. 95. All right. Almost done. We're on the home stretch. So the 45s will cancel. And now you have negative 54 plus 35, which is negative 19, equals 95. 19x equals 95. Then we're going to divide by negative 19. And I don't know what this is either. 5. So negative 5. So x is negative 5. Now we got to decide which of the 4 equations are we going to use to plug x back into. I think I'm going to go with this top one here, because the negative 5 and the negative 6 are going to make a positive 30, so that might be easier for us. So I'm going to go with that. So we got negative 6x minus 5y equals 0. I'm going to plug the negative 5 back in for x. So negative 6 times negative 5 is positive 30. Now we subtract 30 from both sides. And we're going to divide by negative 5. And y equals 6. So we have our coordinate point, negative 5, positive 6, which is A. A lot of work. You really have to be diligent to get this done. Systems of equations in general, especially when you have to write them from a word problem, can really kick your butt. But if you need help, make sure you ask for it, and I'll help you in any way I can.